Hi there. I want to say thank you for you considering joining us for Thriver and Mentor program. This is all Diana's idea to get more of our lovely community members who are the most outstanding women in the group join this program. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about it so that we set the expectations and see whether this is something that you would like to do. First of all, we've noticed that you're very much you're a big participant in the Hormone Thrivers community, and we want to thank you for that. You've been answering people's questions, you've been encouraging them. People love you, my team loves you, and so we thought we'll reach out to you and share with you that there is an opportunity to get involved a little bit deeper with the community if you like. When I first created Hormones Balance, I never thought it's gonna grow as much as it has. And with the book coming out and a lot of other stuff happening that's gonna be happening this year and next year, I'm pretty sure the community is gonna grow even bigger. And so we wanted to set up an infrastructure for it to provide the best support ever for women in the community. I personally love the fact that there are so many women out there who want to help themselves get better, rebalance their hormones through nutrition. What a rare idea, right? Who are not okay with taking yet another higher dose of thyroid medication, or who want to look at other alternatives than having their uterus removed, or taking bioidentical hormones, or whatever it is. I think it's just a wonderful opportunity of supporting women through nutrition. And so that's what I would like to invite you to. And just to set a little bit of expectations and to tell you what the program is about so that you know us a little bit better, what we have in mind for this is, this is not this is not a job. There is no budget to it. It's not a paid gig. You do it whenever you feel like it. There's no deliverables or expectations. I'm going to talk a little bit later in the video about just some communication expectations that I would like to put in place in framework, and there's 5 points I'm going to talk to you about. But other than that, it's really about giving women the love and support they need to get them to the next level with their health. And we thought you were just the best person to ask for that. Moving forward, it's been myself and my team doing the support work. But we feel that whenever there is support from members who've gone through programs, who've gone through a lot of hardship, there is, I think, a lot of reassurance that comes with that, and warmth and trust. And so we feel like you're a really great person to fill in that space to help us build this community and see, and help me also fulfill the mission. My mission is to see 1 million women, at least 1 million women, over the next 2 years, really benefiting from this form of eating and rebalancing their hormones. I want to see less breast cancers. I'm on a mission to see less uteruses being removed unnecessary, less thyroid cancers being diagnosed, and breast lumps and PMS is all those things that can be so debilitating in a woman's life. I want to see less of all of that. And if you think you would like to be part of that, then I would love to welcome you to the Thriver Mentor Program. So I want to share with you a couple of guidelines that I have in mind if you're willing to move forward with us. So if you decide to become a mentor with the Thrivers, the first thing, there's 5 things I've written out here. So 5 things that I've got written out here that I would like to share with you that I think will be good to implement when you're doing this kind of support work. The first one is what I call bioindividuality and respecting every member's bioindividuality. What this means is that, everyone is different, and you already know that because your experience. I don't need to explain that. Everyone is different. Everybody needs a different dietary protocol. And I'm very respectful of that, and I would love to community to nurture that kind of belief that just because somebody, for example, if you're doing AIP and it has really helped you, that's wonderful. You can share that as an experience. I don't mind that. But let's not go, I wouldn't want to see a mentor saying, well, do AIP. It's going to be, it's an answer for everything, because it's not. If somebody has got problems with histamine, for example, Or oxalates, like me, I'm struggling with that right now. AIP is not going to solve my problems, right? So respecting that by individuality, always making recommendations with the caveat that it has worked for some people, it might have worked for me. I've seen this solution working for people, of this food having helped people, but not making these kind of stern assumptions and recommendations that you've got to go AIP. Of course, if somebody is complaining there that she's still eating a lot of grains and gluten and saying, getting off gluten is really quite important, it has helped a lot of people, and this person is still complaining about sensitivity to grains, then, recommending that maybe AIP is the solution. So really making recommendations of trying different things rather than stating that's a definitive. I'm always very scared of definitives because no one knows what is the other person really in need of in order to heal. So that's my first point, is respecting the individuality of a person. The second point is meeting the person where they are. I think a lot of the people who come to Hormone Thrivers are already pretty experienced. They have gone through, being off gluten for a while, off dairy for a while. Maybe they've tried being vegetarian or vegan, right? And things still aren't working. That's why they join the community, to go deeper. And so, but then there are also people who are really for the first time doing something different, and just the idea of giving up gluten or dairy is like the most intimidating thought ever. And remember how when you first discovered you might have a food sensitivity, what that felt like? Because I still remember that. Mercola's article that popped out in Yahoo said that bread is causing acne, and I had acne all over my face, and I was like, I'm supposed to stop eating bread, then what do I eat, right? Remember that moment, right? So some people are still in that space. So to that second point about meeting them where they are is, if somebody's coming in to the community and is posting or lamenting about having to give up dairy, and she's having such a block, emotional block of giving up dairy, right? I wouldn't want to respond to that saying, well, you also have to get off sugar and gluten and all the nightshade vegetables and get off grains and because that person is going to get completely shut down. So just being really gentle and meeting the person where they are. If they're just starting out on that journey, maybe they just need to remove one food at a time, and just encouraging them, encouraging them to do so would be the way to go. If somebody is an experienced AIPer, right, has been on AIP for a long time and things still aren't working, then we can go into, more sophisticated solutions like what about consider salicylates or oxalates, or look at low histamine diet, right? Or going deeper into different protocols might be great, right? But not when somebody's just starting out. So that was my second point, meet them where they are. Number 3 is reframing. Reframing is helping a person see the same situation but in a different light, right? And reframing can be, it's a very much of a life coach's tool, and so if you're comfortable with that, is helping that somebody see the same situation a different way. So for example, you might have a person who comes on and says, oh my God, now I have to cut out all these foods and my family is not supportive and my kids are not going to touch that kind of food. And I must, and I have to change things because otherwise I have to go to the gym, right? So the first thing is helping somebody see it differently is observing how they use the languaging. A really powerful tool. When you see when somebody's using these words like I have to, I must, it creates a really strong, energetic, very negative energy to the languaging. So we might help them reframe by just asking them to change their language from I have to I really want to, or I really desire to, as really my intention for the year is to, for example, hit the gym, right? But also helping them see the same situation in a different way. Like, for example, is there something you can learn from this experience? Is this a way that's going to help your kids become maybe less ADD or ADHD, or help your husband feel much more energetic and patient, whatever, so that the reframing can be really powerful in a community. My only caution would be when you help somebody reframe is, if somebody, for example, has posted that there was a death in a family, and then asking a person, well, what are you learning from there? It might sound a little bit preachy and inappropriate, so I trust your judgment on that, and so I just want to state it as a fact, just to be careful on that. But reframing can be really powerful in helping a person see things differently, and it takes away that negative charge, that overwhelm. Another way of reframing is, for example, saying to the person, can you break things down and just take one step at a time? And then so suddenly they don't see the whole, change as one big monster in front of them, but they see it as one chunk at a time that they can manage. Number 4 is reinforcement and positive feedback, right? A really simple thing. I think you guys are already doing that. That's why we love you. When you see somebody doing something really great, cheer them on. Let's cheer them on. Let's encourage them to do more. Ask more people to do the same. Somebody posts a photograph of their first ferment. Let's ask them a question like, what about the rest of you guys? Who else is gonna be wanting to ferment, right? It's just a really, obviously it's part of the community. Everybody wants to. That's why people come to this page, right? Is to find just commonality between us, to normalize these crazy feelings that we have about change and healing, right? And find support and sisters, and we all sisters in this. So just reinforcing that would be just a wonderful quality. And, number 5 is what I call the going back to the why. And it's a little bit philosophical, but Deanna and I talked about it because, like I said, this is all Deanna's idea. She's the instigator behind this. Is that the why is in why are we doing what we're doing, right? So, like, if somebody is really feeling down about things, it's are we going to be doing a little bit more on that in this year, 2017, moving into the year, is really pulling people back to what is your why? Why are you doing all of this, right? And sometimes people forget that at the end of the day, they are not making the changes to make life complicated for themselves, but because they want to have more energy to play with the kids, or because they want to be a better grandma, or because they want to be, a better wife without these crazy mood swings that are abusive towards everybody around us. And so sometimes when we forget the why we are doing what we're doing, why we're making all these efforts and changes in our diets, that really helps the person to go back to, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that why, that I really want to show up differently, right? So those are my 5 points. Respecting their bi-individuality. Number 2 is meeting them where they are. Number 3 is helping them reframe their negative thoughts or perceptions on the situation. Number 4 is reinforcement and positive feedback. And number 5 is that going back to their why. So so I think that's it for me. I'm just going to keep the video under 15 minutes. So I think I have accomplished that. I like to talk. And just let me know your thoughts and communicate with our team and let us know if this is something that is that you would like to do with us. And if you decide to do so, I would love to welcome you from the bottom of my heart to Hormone Thrive System Mentor.